Now, let's continue with some of the more advanced template features. First, we're going to reset the template back to default. So we tap Reset Template, confirm it, and you'll notice a couple things right away. The order of the measurements has been restored to the default layout, but that custom row we added, distance to electrical outlet, is still there. That's by design. When you reset the template, it resets the order, but it does not delete any custom rows you've added. So if you want to fully clean things up, you'll just come down and manually delete that row. Now the form is completely back to the default template. Now, let's move into a real-world example of where templates really shine. Let's say you're working on a large job, maybe commercial, maybe residential, but the only product you're installing is roller shades. Roller shades are a little different. In most cases, they're inside mount, and you really only need a few key dimensions to define the product. At a minimum, you care about the width at the top, where the headrail sits, and a single height measurement. But here's something important. Windows are not always perfectly square. In a perfect world, the width at the front and the back of the window would be the same. But in reality, sometimes the window is slightly tapered, meaning the front width is wider than the back, or vice versa. If you don't account for that, you could end up with a headrail that doesn't fit, or worse, needing to modify drywall on site. So the best practice is to capture two width measurements at the top, one for the front and one for the back. Then you size the product based on the smaller of the two. So let's set that up inside the app. We'll create two custom rows, width top front, width top back. Then we'll drag both of those rows to the top of the form. Next, we'll move our middle height measurement up underneath them. Now we've created a simple three-step workflow: top front width, top back width, and middle height. And most importantly, we've arranged them in the exact order we plan to measure them in the field. At this point, we save this layout as our template. Now, when we start measuring, the process becomes very smooth. We capture the top front width, then the top back width, and then the middle height. Press Save and Next, and move to the next window. Repeat the same three measurements, and continue through the job. Because the template matches your measuring flow, you can move from window to window without constantly interacting with the app. And when you scale that across a large job with dozens, or even hundreds of windows, it becomes a huge time saver. This is a great example of how templates allow you to simplify your workflow, reduce unnecessary steps, and stay focused on the measuring process itself.